Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Fiverr Talks. We got a brand new set for you, and today we're going to be talking about something extremely important. It's about you getting paid up front before you do any work to make sure that you can be successful on Fiverr. That's right, as always, my name is Joel Young, top-rated seller and Fiverr top earner, here to share my tips and tidbits on the Fiverr selling experience with you. We're in a brand new set, doing some new things with the audio. I hope you like it, and if you do, please comment down below and let me know how much you like it. I want to constantly make improvements to the set and these videos to make sure they're the best they can possibly be for you, and I love you all for being a part of the community, so if you're new, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about you getting paid, which, if you're a seller on Fiverr, you know is important, because if you don't get paid, then nothing gets done. And this is the beginning of a conversation that we were having in the comments section over the last couple weeks. People asking about when to get paid and in what order, how should all this work? And I thought this is a good time for me to sit down and talk through the Fiverr process with you, how things are supposed to work, because there are so many of you out there that are just getting started that you aren't quite sure what to do when a buyer offers you compensation in arrears, meaning that, hey, if you do this, I'll add to the project, I'll pay you later, I'll tip you for it. I'll just say right up front, that is the quickest and easiest way to lose out, not get paid, and get totally discouraged by your selling experience on Fiverr. The way things work on Fiverr is very linear, and I want you to follow this process each and every time you start an order. So here's how it goes. On Fiverr specifically, the buyer will place the order first. This is one of the most important parts of the process. Buyer places an order, because when that buyer places an order, it doesn't put money in your hands. What it does is it puts money in a cash. We'll call it in escrow with Fiverr, meaning they have the money, they hold the money. Then that releases you or creates an order for you in your queue to start work. You know, them paying in advance in the beginning of the process is your guaranteed that if I complete this work as they've requested, they have already paid, I will get paid. And after they've placed their order, you can get started on the work during the promised timeline, actually fulfilling their requests and all these things, but you know the money is there when they pay up front. Then when you've completed the work, you'll deliver it to them, and you don't yet get paid. You deliver it to them, and they have up to 3 days to respond and request revisions, or if they want to, before that 3-day period, approve the work, and then you get paid. Either when a 3-day period is up and Fiverr auto completes the gig, or when they give it the thumbs up and leave a review completing the order, then you will get paid. Fiverr will release that money to you. It normally takes about 7 days for that money to actually get onto your Fiverr balance. Okay, so that's the way the process works on Fiverr for getting paid. The problem is a lot of buyers don't read gig descriptions, they don't pay attention, and they don't ask questions up front. Don't get me wrong, I love my buyers, but I know how people are, and after doing, I've got to be close to 15,000 gigs by now, I can tell you that people don't always order correctly. And if you're a seller, you know about this. In fact, I'm going to make this our question of the day for today. Please let me know down below by leaving a comment with QOTD in your response. Let me know, have you ever had a buyer place an order for the wrong amount and then struggled to get them to the right amount? Let me know the scenario down there. Share your experience. I'm sure you've all been through it. I know I have thousands of times where they just simply place an order without even thinking or without even knowing or without even reading. It's wrong, and you then need to follow up and get them to fill in or add on to the order, which Fiverr today has a really great system for that. Back in the days when I started, the system was horrible for that. You actually had to open another gig and start things in multiples. It was crazy. Today they have something called the add-on feature, where you can simply click add-on on the message box right there in the gig page, and it will add on a request, and all they have to do is add it on there. It will add to the total of that same gig page. You can even extend the timeline if you need to. It's really great. That is the way you should get someone to properly add on to an order. What you don't want to do is have somebody say, hey, I know I'm short on this, do a great job and I will leave you a big tip covering what I owe you and then some. Who hasn't been lured into the scenario of a promised tip for doing extra work, or, I'll add it at the end of the process, if it looks good, X, Y, Z. Who hasn't been lured into the process with a buyer with that kind of promise? I think almost everybody has. I did it many times as a young buyer, early buyer, wasn't wanting to cause trouble, not wanting to interrupt the order flow. Like I said, when I started, they had to place new orders to get up to the proper amount. It was really annoying. And many times, in fact, dozens of times, I was stiffed. I delivered work and guess what? Never heard from a client again. And so you want to make sure before you do any work of any kind for anyone that, especially on Fiverr, they have paid their proper amount upfront at the beginning. Because if they don't, then you have no guarantee that when that work is completed, you'll get the money that you're owed or actually is due to you for the work you've completed. You see, in the creative world, it's a very, very sensitive issue, one that you can fall on different sides of no matter what side of the issue you're on, whether you're a buyer or a seller, but one that I think we as sellers need to stand firm on, saying that we need to be paid upfront. Even in my off Fiverr business, my actual local business, we get payment upfront, 100% upfront, before we'll even put you on our calendar. Why? Because we're creating Creative Works digital deliverables that will be going out to you in phases and in part, sometimes in whole. And there is just nothing worse than having completed the work and you aren't hearing back from your client. You can't deliver it and therefore you're not being paid. In my case, I can't pay my team or I'm paying it out of my own pocket until they respond and we get the money for the project. So you should always get paid upfront, especially on Fiverr, where that is the process. That Fiverr takes the order, they hold the money till you complete it, and the buyer approves it, and then you get paid. I say this because many of you are probably going to be tempted to make things work or try to smooth things over with a customer who's not ordered correctly by simply, taking that promise of a tip at the end or, something of that sort. But you need to stick to your guns. I believe that it's not a point of conflict. It's a point of principle that buyers actually respect sellers who have processes in place, who have things that they don't negotiate on. That's why I think it's important to set your rates and not negotiate with people constantly on them. Stand firm in the value you provide. That was another video we've already created last week or two, I think. So go back and check for that if you're interested. But definitely get paid upfront every single time before you start the work, and make sure that the amount is correct. You've got all the tools to do that on Fiverr, and you should ask anyone who wants you to do work for them to respect you to enough to follow Fiverr's process, because in the end, that's what you need to fall back on. Hey, this is not my process. This is not me putting parameters around our interaction. This is actually the way Fiverr asks us to do business. You place an order, I do work, I deliver work, you approve work, Fiverr gives me the money. That's how it works. And so I think being very clear in your communication with your customers that that's how Fiverr wants things to happen, that's the process they want us to follow, is going to help you tremendously and avoid the temptation that sometimes is there for you to maybe do work for an order that's not properly paid for in hopes of a tip at the end or whatever it is, and put yourself in the vulnerable position to be disappointed and to be cheated out of some money. Because essentially, when someone's asking you to do work for less of a price than you actually deserve or have advertised, they're cheating you. It's not right, and it's not fair to you. Hey, thanks so much for joining me for today's video. I am really excited about the stuff we're going to do right here in this new studio with this new look. It'll change from time to time, but I'm constantly trying to evolve and grow and make things better. And one way I'm making things better is by growing the community over on Patreon. If you've enjoyed this video, I think you'll really enjoy it. You can join us over there. It's a very easy thing to join. Go to patreon.com/DJYoung. Become a Fiverr Talks Insider. We're doing a Q&A video first Friday of every month. So we've got one coming up here in just a few weeks where I take your practical questions, answer them on camera just like this. We talk about your situation, and that's only for our insiders. So if you love these videos and would love to ask questions specifically to me, interact with me in the inbox, you can do that over on Fiverr Talks Patreon Insider platform. Oh, there's all kinds of things we could call it, but really what it is the best digital mentorship you can get for your Fiverr selling journey. So make sure you join me over there. If you're new, subscribe. If you like the content, give me a thumbs up. And as always, keep doing, because the future favors the doers.